Alright guys, Tactical Rab here today, and I am not a happy bunny. Hope you're all having a good Friday, but today I wanted to talk about what's just been announced over the last couple of hours or so, and that is the schedule for the first half of the season for the Call of Duty League in the upcoming season. Of course, it starts on the 24th of January, running through all the way till I think the World Championships is going to be the start of August, something like that. We have the schedule for the first half of the league, and honestly guys, it's not looking good. I don't know if I am missing something here. I did a tweet about this, so maybe things will have changed by the time this video goes live, but I don't think so. I don't think this is an incredible mistake, but I'm just looking at this and thinking, well, for the players this might be fantastic, but for the fans and for people who want to enjoy watching Call of Duty this season, this is very, very questionable indeed, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it down in the comment section below. Whether you even think you're going to be attending any of these events, if you thought you were planning to in the past, whether this changes your mind, because it certainly has made me reconsider very, very strongly whether I'll even be attending the events this year, which is not something I ever thought I would even consider saying. That's how bad, effectively, the schedule is and how ridiculous it seems on paper. I just don't know if I'm missing something. So yeah, let's hop right into it. Like, if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always. Firstly, it must be said that announcing the schedule this early is great on the grounds that, well, in an ideal world, in the grounds that the people that are behind the teams, they can see into week 11 of the season who they're going to be playing. They can prep, they can decide who they're going to be playing against, they know what travel arrangements they have. On paper, this is like really well done to decide things this early. However, the actual way they've decided to do it is very questionable indeed, in addition to the fact that I just saw this on Reddit, suggesting that trying to buy tickets for Atlanta's home event, they were paying $50 for a 2-day pass, which from what I've heard, $50 is on the low end of what you're going to be paying for tickets, like definitely on the low ends. And then, of course, they have ticket fees on top of that, which, I mean, Ticketmaster and companies like that get blamed for these ticket fees, but actually, I'm pretty sure it's the venue behind the scenes that is actually artificially increasing the costs by adding these ticket fees through Ticketmaster. They don't take as big a cut as this, but the venues are like, well, if we can say we're selling it for $50, but we're not really, then that'll help boost our sales. And this is just a crazy pricing, right? That's not even nowhere near the highest price you're going to see this season for sure. So let's get into this then. This is what the launch weekend looks like in terms of a schedule, and on paper this doesn't look too bad, right, on the surface. Like, the launch weekend seems pretty reasonable, all the teams are going to be here, but then you look into the fact that some teams are playing a very different amount of games to other teams. So on the Friday, the 24th of January, we've got 3 games: OpTic Gaming LA, New York Subliners, Florida Mutineers, Royal Ravens, Guerillas, or however you guys want me to pronounce it, versus the Rokkr, whatever. And then we've got 4 games here, 4 games here, some pretty spicy games, Chicago LA, these kind of games. I'm not quite sure why the last game is Subliners Mutineers. Seems a bit of a strange one to have to finish things up. FaZe, OpTic. Of course, we've got some good games on this opening weekend, but, who are the Dallas Empire playing, right? We wanted to see what was going to happen to them on the opening weekend. Of course, the Rokkr have 3 games, but there's some teams that only have 1 single game. They're flying up to Minnesota for the weekends to just play 1 match. Like, Paris are coming over from Paris. I'm guessing maybe Paris will be based in the States anyway, but, you're going to be flying out to Minnesota to play 1 game against the Dallas Empire, maybe get absolutely smoked, and then head back on a plane the very next day. Like, that already is very questionable to me in terms of a schedule. So then, Clayster expounds on this here for good reason. You're telling me I'm flying up to Minnesota in sub-zero conditions, not to whoop Fargo's ass on Minnesota, of course, but we flying up there to smoke Timmy Phantoms and co. Sheesh. Then we fly to London for 1 game, come home, fly to Paris for 1 game. We'll go on to this in a couple of minutes' time. I'm so confused. These better be best of 11s, because if I fly overseas to lose a 30-minute series, I'm going to fly back and lose full composure, which is fair enough. And to my understanding, these aren't best of 11s, right? The rule set has been announced for the upcoming season. It's going to be best of 5s. We've got Hardpoint Map 1, Search and Destroy Map 2, Domination, Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, as has been tradition. These aren't best of 7s, these aren't best of 9s, these aren't best of 11s. We've got relatively what could be very short series. A hot 3-0 in Call of Duty could happen in, 35 minutes or something like that if it's a really efficient game. And who knows, we might have that in the upcoming season. So you know, the fact that you could be potentially on this Friday have some incredibly quick matches is just, you know, it doesn't look good already. And this is just the launch weekend. We haven't even got started, boys. Let's get into the good stuff here. So as RCD, okay, it's not even good. RCD says, yeah, why once, right? Chicago Huntsmen, of course. Let's have a look back at this for a second. They're playing OpTic Gaming LA on the Sunday. That's the only game they play the entire weekend. They're flying up there for one single series, and then they're going to come home again, which is just crazy. So it's all up on the website, but let's go through it now. So this is what we're looking at for the upcoming season. I'm going to go through the schedule. Firstly, you guys will look at this and think, okay, so this is the second weekend. The Minnesota, they hold their event January 24th to the 26th. Then it's the Royal Ravens' turn. What are they going to do? February 8th through 9th, the weekend. You know, we're going to have some crazy games. Of course, people are going to be coming from all around the country to see the Royal Ravens play at the peak of their game, see if they can take on some good teams and, you know, come out of the weekend thinking, wow, that was great. We got some storylines out of it. Maybe we got the kind of results we were looking for. Maybe the Royal Ravens showed something that we didn't expect them to show or whatever, right? Instead, this is what we get. Now, it has been confirmed to me by Pada, as he says here, so of course he's working as a social media guy with the Royal Ravens, but I did this tweet. Am I missing something here? The CDL schedule seems bonkers. The average weekend looks like this. 5 matches. Now, I say here 3 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, but in fact it's 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. How much better does that make it? I don't really know. But Pana does confirm that on the website here, this is a mistake, right? This should say Saturday, this should say Sunday, which is a very slight improvement on what I thought it was. But look how crazy this is, okay? So these are the teams who've got the Royal Ravens thing. We've got the Guerillas, we've got the Subliners, we've got the Chicago Huntsmen, we've got the Paris Legion. Paris are playing twice, Royal Ravens are playing twice. Every other team is playing once. First of all, Paris are coming to London. Why are Paris not playing London? London and Paris both playing 2 matches. Why are they not playing each other? That's like a local derby that we would love to see. Instead, the Royal Ravens are playing the Ultra, and they're playing the Dallas Empire. Dallas Empire come over here for 1 game. Ultra come over here for 1 game. Same with the Surge, same with Chicago, same with the Guerillas, same with the Subliners. What is going on? You're flying halfway across the world for a single best of 5. Think of this from the player's perspective, it's not too bad. You get flown everywhere. I mean, this will come off the back of the CDL probably. I don't really think the organizations will have to pay for this. But, you know, who knows whose pocket it's coming out of. But for the players, who really cares? Flying halfway across the world to play Call of Duty, play a single series. If you lose, what matters? You still got a load of bank coming in your back pocket from the organizations in the CDL anyway. Who even cares if you lose? There's going to be so many teams that go to the playoffs at the end of the season. And one thing I've also noticed looking through the schedule is that these teams play different amount of games. I think the Ravens and the Chicago maybe, or I think it was OpTic, they both play 10 games before the midway point of the season, whereas Seattle play 11. So how does that work? Are we going to have a mid-season playoffs? Because if teams are playing different amount of matches before the mid-season, how exactly can you figure out a playoffs? Looks to me maybe there will just be one big championship at the end of the year, and the mid-season weekend will be, well, who exactly knows? Maybe there will be some championship involved, who knows? But that's just something I picked up from looking through these schedules, and you know, apparently a lot of people are going to be able to make it to the playoffs anyway, so if you lose, who really cares? Hop back on a plane, you're still making bank. Now think of this from the fans' perspective. You're turning up on a Saturday to watch 3 series that could be over super quickly. You're paying a lot of money. We just looked at the Atlanta FaZe weekend, right? How much that's going to cost. Apparently, if you want to sit near the front, that's going to cost you even more. I think someone commented on yesterday's video, sorry I don't remember exactly your name, but he was saying that, you know, I forget exactly what venue it was, but $80 for a normal ticket, maybe $200 to sit near the front. You paid $200 to turn up on a weekend to watch 3 incredibly quick series of teams you maybe don't even really care about, then to watch your team get absolutely smoked by the Dallas Empire at the end of the day. You're in a quick 2 quick 3-0s on the Saturday, on the Sunday even, and then you're off home. Like, you've got to pay for accommodation, especially if you're going to London. Things are pretty damn expensive. I'm sure it's the same elsewhere across the world. You got to pay for food, you got to pay for like drinks and beers and whatever on top of this. £5-6 a pint, on top of paying all this money to watch, what, 2 games on Sunday to not even get a cleared champion at the end of the day. Like, I know I'm ranting, guys, but like, Jesus, this is not looking pretty, right? So yeah, let's go through the schedule for the other teams. The Atlanta FaZe, OpTic LA versus the Ravens. So the Ravens coming out here for 2 matches, Paris flying out here for 1, Atlanta FaZe play 2, OpTic Gaming play 1, Mutineers play 1, Chicago play 1. Like, you know, what's going on, man? I don't really get it. And, you know, you'll see this same thing repeated. So, finally here on Paris, we do see, okay, it actually is Saturday and Sunday at the end of this month. And we do, thankfully, wow, praise the Lord, we have 3 matches on each day. What a miracle. So, like, I mean, come on, what's going on here? Paris are playing 2 games. Are these even particular rivalries? Like, when are they playing London, right? Surely that's a rivalry you want to look at. Maybe not, who really cares? Okay, maybe they play that on the opening weekend, and maybe I missed that. No, they don't. So yeah, that's absolutely classic. So this weekend in Los Angeles, the Guerillas, OpTic Gaming, they're going to be hosting these matches. There are actually more games on this weekend in the middle of the season here. So we've got 2 on the Friday, 4 on the Saturday, and then we've got another 3 on the Sunday. Bit strange. LA actually, at least there is going to be a derby match here, but still, like, look, given the fact that at these weekends, we don't have a traditional winner at the end of the weekend, we don't have a traditional epic grand final conclusion, what's going to happen? These matches ultimately can be somewhat meaningless. We don't know how the qualification at the end of the season is going to work yet, depending on who gets into the playoffs, who gets to go to the World Championships or whatever. So we don't even know how much these matches mean. They could be friendlies for all we care, right? Okay, it's interesting to see which team's going to be doing as good as other teams, but there's obviously going to be factors at play here. People are flying all the way across the world. There's going to be potential jet lag at play. People not being warmed up yet. You're not even going to have the experience of being able to, or, you know, a team started off pretty slow this tournament. Are they going to bring it back towards the end? That's not even a thing that's in consideration, because teams fly out and play 1 single series. York Subliners playing 2 matches on their home turf. But, you know, I'll just run through these, because this is effectively what we're looking at here, boys and girls. And look, it's not pretty. Chicago Huntsmen play 2 matches on Dallas Empire's soil, but we don't even get Dallas Empire versus Chicago Huntsmen, right? They haven't even organized this in terms of rivalries, right? You got Dallas versus Toronto, you got Dallas versus Minnesota. Are there particular rivalries there to talk about? Like, people want to see the epic matchups. They want to see what they paid their $200+ for. I've heard that even the opening weekend in Minnesota could be as much as like $600 for a premium seat. No, what am I looking at here? Just leave your thoughts down below. I think I've explained things as best as I can, and I'm still quite confused. Am I missing something? 5 games on a weekend? Like, you want me to pay that amount of money to get trains to London, get overnight accommodation, go and see London Royal Ravens play a couple of matches that aren't even particularly exciting rivalry matches, and then what, pay like 20 quid for 4 pints of beer and then go home again? Like, I mean, come on, like, just sell it to me a bit. I'm not convinced. So yeah, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always, leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time, probably continuing on the same vein.
I got him, front hill. One's holding the front heady, they're all spawning back there.
They're on the front heady, bro, 1 front heady. He's literally laying down like a little rat.
Okay,
in the back.
Rugs.
Dead. I'm 1 shot. I'm dead.
Rotate for good.